Hey guys, this is Paul at RC Foam Fighters. The weather's been bad and I still haven't had time to fly the EDF version of the FF-117 version 2 with the modified thrust tube out the back and stuff like that. The weather's been bad on the weekends, and then during the week I've been working, so I haven't had time to fly the plane. But on the weekends when the weather was bad, I decided to take the other spare prototype build that I had lying around, and I decided to put a smaller EDF in it. I put a 50mm EDF in it, and actually it fit in there a lot better. As you can see, I got a thrust tube cover there. It's a little less prominent, out the top versus, this one with the 64mm. I'm going to see if it'll fly. This plane's a lot lighter. It weighed in right at about 21 ounces with the addition of the EDF and with the battery and everything. It's got a little bit less than 1-to-1 power to weight ratio when I did the vertical test. It was just a little bit too little to hold it up vertical, but I think it should be enough to fly it. If it proves to fly, then I'll probably try and find a more powerful 50mm EDF and rebuild it with that. I saw there was some on Amazon that have, I think, rated at 950 grams of thrust. The one I have in here is only rated at 650 grams of thrust. But anyway, let's take a closer look at it and I'll show you what I did. Okay, I've opened the top up just so we can take a look inside. As you can see, the 50mm EDF fits a lot farther back in the plane, so that helped it make it easier to find the CG or get the CG. And I am using a smaller battery. It's only going to be using a 1300 milliamp battery. That'll fit a lot farther up in the nose. So that'll leave this middle area nice, open, and clear for the airflow to go through. Right now, it's just a big open space. I did cut away the air ducts, like I did on the other plane. Opened it up a little bit, so that should get airflow. And since it's a 50mm, it shouldn't require as much airflow as the 64mm. So hopefully with the lighter version of the plane, it should still fly. And at 21 ounces, that's actually about the same weight as my Viper 50, which was, I think, right around 20 ounces. And that flew fine with this 50mm EDF. It's the same Dr. Mad Thrust 50mm in that plane as in this new revised F-117. For the ESC, I'm just using a Turnigy Plush 30 amp ESC, just kind of taped to the side. Again, this was, an afterthought build after the plane was ready together, so I just kind of cut away. That stuff is not super accurate, and just taped electronics in. So if it proves to fly, I'll redesign it and make it, a lot better. I'll make actual air ducts probably that lead to the EDF to make it more efficient and keep the wiring out of the air path. Looking at the back of the thrust tube, I definitely like the way it came out on this one. Again, I didn't really, measure it and draw it in CAD. I just kind of cut it on the fly, to what I thought would fit. But anyway, it looks more kind of integrated. It's got more of the angle instead of the ugly rounded tube that I had on the 64mm. And it's only protruding out of the very back, so when this thing is flying horizontally, you should barely see that. Here's looking at the back of the plane. So, you got a straight through shot with the 50mm EDF. And then, the way this thrust tube cover is, I had it angled a little bit, pinched down at the bottom. So that helps get the angle, to use to mount the vertical stabilizers. Then I just kind of filled in the back, with these fill plates, the old thrust plate that was on the old plane. I just kind of made it fatter to fill it in. When I do the final design, I'll probably just, take the natural contours of the plane and just bring this all the way straight down at the angle that this plate is like on the real plane. Okay guys, this is just a very short video, just let me know what you guys think of the plane and, how you think it'll fly. Hopefully over the Thanksgiving holiday, there'll be some good weather and I can get out and test fly both of these planes, with the EDFs. My plan is hopefully to design and build a more official plan for the 50mm, probably roughly the same size as this is right now. And then with the 60 or 70mm, I'll probably blow up the size of the plane a little bit bigger, so it'll roughly, kind of have the same contours of this 50mm. So, the thrust tube will be barely hanging out. And on the final design, it'll all be drawn in CAD, so everything will fit together a lot better.